Hello and welcome to day 2, and today we will be focusing on the coaching mindset. We thank you for all of your insights on yesterday's task. We really enjoyed reading your intentions and the areas you'd like to improve within coaching and where you'd like to focus this week. So we're going to get into some of the skill sets over the next couple of days and starting today. So we're loving the energy in the group. The next task comes in 2 parts once again, but there's also an extra bonus task, which is a bit more experiential that you can do if you are able to. I would encourage you, if you need a bit more time to do that one, to put the answers to the first 2 tasks into the answers, and then to come back and add the experiential task later, unless you're able to do it straight away, that's fine. So again, for the writing part and the reflection tasks, we expect that to take around 20 to 30 minutes, no more. It may take a bit longer to find someone to work with and to practice these skills, but hopefully it can be built into your day. So especially if you've found someone that you know that you're going to use these skills with over the next few days. So part 1 then is looking at content and process, and it's really important that as we get started on this journey together over the next few days, that we set the scene and we all are on the same page about the type of coaching that we're talking about, what it is, and also what it is not. Some of you here will be trained coaches and this won't be new to you, but for others there might be some surprises in store today as I talk about what coaching actually is. There are many helping professions out there. All of them have value, and there are many different ways of helping people which also all have value, and many complement coaching and benefit from having coaching applied to them, but they are different. There are definite differences between them and coaching. So let me delve in. For example, coaching is not mentoring, training, teaching, consulting. All of these helping professions are valuable, and they sometimes employ the same kind of skill sets the same kind of skill sets are required within them, but they are definitely different. And one of the main differences between those professions and coaching is that at their core, the person who is doing, the mentor, the mentor, the consultant, the trainer, the teacher, they are the expert in their field, and they are giving advice and bringing expertise to the person who's receiving. However, in coaching, it's not that way. The coach does have some expertise, but they are the expertise in terms of the process that they're holding. The content comes from the coachee. They are the expert in their own content, the person being coached. So, and that can be one of the most challenging parts of coaching. Even years and years and years after learning to coach, it can still remain something that you have to work on. To not give advice, to not give suggestions, to not bring your own content to the session. And I'd like you to think back to perhaps when you've given advice to someone, and think about whether they took the advice or whether they went off and did their own thing. And it's often the most powerful experience when we are able to come up with our own answers. It has a massive impact on whether the goal is achieved or the result, whether we get a result, is whether we give that person the accountability and responsibility. And I know that, think back also to when people have given you advice and whether it fits for you, because if they were giving you their advice, it works for them, but maybe it didn't work for you. And which did you find more empowering? Coming up with your own answers and knowing that you've done it, or having that answer given to you by someone else? So, and we call this non-directive coaching, or as in North Point terminology, we talk about content and process. So in coaching, the content is brought by the coachee and the process is the coach's domain. And that would be different than other types of helping professions. The other differences are between therapy and counselling. And in therapy and counselling, one of the biggest difference there is that we're often focusing on the past in therapy and counselling and what's gone wrong, what the problems are, and we're delving into those problems to help us to understand them better and where they've come from. And that can be really important. So there are times when therapy and counselling are definitely the right thing for someone. Coaching is a lot more solution focused, moving forwards, looking forwards, and helping you to focus on the future. We do talk about the past and the issues there. Of course, we have to discuss the problem, and we do delve into emotions, but we are looking for our intention is to help the person to move forwards. So there's a big difference in intention there, and so that's the biggest difference between those two. So even when we are using other helping professions, having a coaching approach added on, and often we find that other professionals can really benefit from having coaching. We've trained people from many different backgrounds at North Point and from different roles, and they've all said that they benefited from having coaching added. So your task, onto the task. So part one then is to think about your current context in terms of where you are helping others or want to help others and want to have those conversations. Kind of describe that to us. Where are you intending to use coaching now? And maybe you see it as different in the future, so describe that to us as well. It could be as a leader working with your team. It could be that you want to add coaching on as a consultant or to something else that you're already doing. It could be that you want to become fully trained as a coach, or you already are, but you want to be able to get out there a bit more. It may be that you just want to improve your everyday conversations. Wherever it is that you want to apply coaching, let us know. And then when you're having those conversations, think about what holds you back from being non-directive. What makes you want to go out there and give advice, make suggestions, and so on. And then finally, what strategies can you think of to give advice less in your conversations, either on an everyday basis or particularly in coaching conversations? So just have a little think about what you could do in that regard. Then part two, we're moving on to active listening. Now, listening is such an undervalued, underused skill. We think we're listening, but often we aren't truly listening to people. And on our programs, we run these exercises in the coach training program. And every time people come back from that exercise, particularly the people who are being listened to, say, oh, I haven't been listened to in that way for so long. It feels so powerful to be listened to in this incredible way. So this is a gift we can give to others, to listen to them truly. And often the problem is that when we're listening to others, we're focusing in on other things. And in everyday life, it's still beneficial to sit there and truly listen to people. But it's actually not unusual because we get distracted. We've got our phones out. We've got other people around us. We have things going on in our head about our day. And we tend, but in coaching in particular, we, as a leader leading our team, and preferably in everyday life when we're listening to our friends, we need to be able to listen at a deeper level, and our attention needs to be fully focused on the other person. So what it looks like in coaching is that we hold back our attention from our own things going on in our head. What's going on for us today, what solutions we can think of to their problems, what we've done when that happened to us, or what we could do, what questions we're going to ask them next. All of these things, we need to be able to withhold ourselves from our attention from those things, and instead we need to focus on our coachee and the words they're using, their body language, their tone of voice, the what's happening around us that's informing us of different things. Anything that we have this intuition around, our intuition is so important in listening. Perhaps things that they're saying something, but that doesn't add up in something else that they're doing, or the words that they're saying. So whatever it is that we need to focus on, we need to be fully there for them. So your second task then is to think back to your conversations over the past week or few weeks, and whether it be formal coaching sessions, whether it be conversations at work, whether it be development conversations, whether it be just conversations with friends and family, and think, are you being fully present when you're listening to them? Are you honoring them by really hearing what they're saying? Are you focusing in your own head instead? Are you looking at your phone? Are you missing things because you're thinking about how can I respond to this, or I did that before? All of these things send out the signal that these things are more important to us than they are. So we need to be able to focus in on them. So the task in this part 2 is, how do you rate your listening? What do you do well? And then also, what do you find challenging? How could you improve? And so that's the 2 tasks for today, the 2 main tasks, the reflective tasks, which are: let us know the context for your coaching, the challenges you have with being non-directive, what can you do to give less advice or suggestions in your coaching or in your conversations. Then rate your listening and what you do well and what you could do better at or could improve. And now for the bonus task. If you are able to, this would really help you with the quality of your listening. We want you to pick a conversation you're having and notice the quality of your listening in that conversation or conversations during the course of this morning. And you can listen to anyone. It can be coaching clients if you wish, but it can also be people at work, your spouse or partner, your children, the next door neighbor even, friends. Well, whoever it is, I want you to focus in on building the skills that you identified in the second part of the task, and try and look at improving them. Set yourself a little bit of a learning goal for what you're going to improve about your listening and what you're going to notice, and then you can tell us all about that in this post at the bottom of here. And like I said, if you need to do the first 2 sections and then put the bonus task in later, that's okay. Okay, so that is it for today. Happy listening. We look forward so much to hearing about how you get on today, and we will see you on the other side at the live this evening. Thank you and goodbye.